Hey, welcome back. Today, I'm going to be ripping apart this NV245. I'm going to rebuild it. And I don't know that there's anything wrong with it, but I got it out of the junkyard and I want to make sure that it's good before it goes into anything or before I sell it. I'm going to go over that step by step and show you how that's done. The first step is getting this output yoke off of there. That's the rear output yoke. I'm going to go inch and quarter on that jammy. This thing is pretty crusty. I don't know if I can clean that up and reuse it or what. I don't know if all that pitting actually throws it out of balance. Next, this motor's got to come out of here. I wonder if there's a new rubber gasket in there for that. Probably not. Next, we'll pull this back cover off. I've already drained the fluid out of this. There's an indentation here probably for prying. Be careful on that machine surface when you do that. So there's a roll pin down in that hole. That's holding the selector roller from coming off of there, so you got to get a punch to punch that out. Just trying to see if I can't. There we go. If you can pull it out a little bit more. There we go. Just give that a little turn. This will come out of there, and you should be able to get this out of there after that. Doesn't look like orientation matters too much because it looks symmetrical. I'm pretty sure it's an H10. It's a little rusty, so I gotta tap her in. This is the clutch lever rail plug for the clutch lever. Nice. Need needle nose that actually have grip on the inside. Next, we'll take the oil pump inner rotor off of here, maybe. Let's try a magnet again. There we go. These look okay. Don't see any damage or anything crazy. There's a retaining ring on there, but we're going to wait on that. So it's going to take off all the rear casing bolts. They're also 10 millimeters. I need to grab a better block of wood. There we go. That's better. Oh, broke one of them. Now there's a snap ring up here. We gotta get that out. I hate this style snap ring. Give me the ones with the holes in them. It's on there good and tight. There's 3 tabs that you can tap on to crack the case loose. You can kind of tell by the sound when it's going to actually crack loose. Oh yeah, look at that magnet. Oof, look at all that metal. But the nice thing about this magnet location is it's directly underneath that pickup tube filter, so that's cool. There's another snap ring on top of the thrust bearing. That's got to come off in order to get the clutch and all that stuff apart. That is the thrust bearing down below here. It's the thrust bearing plate. retaining ring. I believe this is 2 pieces. Oh, that's a bearing. Groove side faces up. Clutch pressure plate. Wave spring. Wave. It's a wave spring. And clutch assembly. I think it just slides off of here. Yeah, I don't want to take that apart. The rebuild kit that I bought does not come with new clutches. Unfortunately, you'd have to buy them separately and they're a lot of money. Here's another retaining ring. This one hopefully is easier. This is on the front output shaft. Now this should all slide out. Oh yeah. Chain guides don't look too bad. So now the main shaft and differential should come out of here. Oh yeah. Now the front output shaft can come out, and there's a retaining ring that holds that into the bearing. This can come out. Plastic looks okay, that doesn't look all worn out. There we go. The front yoke is out. Let's pull this oil pump pickup. Doesn't look bad. There's a little bit of metal flake on there, that's fun. So inside the rear housing, where the oil pickup tube goes through, which is right here, there is an O-ring in there, but they didn't give me one with the kit, so I'm just probably gonna leave that one, but I'm sure it's probably fine. I'm gonna pull the chain guides off, just because I wanna be able to flip this upside down. The kit also doesn't come with new chain guides. Just wanna get a little more of this Earl out of here. Alright, so I gotta get this front bearing seal out of here. So we need that seal out so we can get to the other snap ring that holds in the front output shaft. Cool, got the planetary gears out. Technically these are differential gears, that's the planetary gear. So I'm gonna leave that one in. I will be taking this apart and replacing thrust washers out of there. Nice. Much easier. Get that out. I think those come with the kit. Inside here you got your thrust washer. It's hard to tell, but I mean, I don't see any damage on anything so far in here, so that's a good sign. So this kit I got off of Transmission Parts Distributors. And I've been reaching out to them because I've been wanting to return this freaking kit, but to no avail. I've got no response back, so whatever. And their website is a pain in the ass. I initiated a return process, but they never sent an RMA confirmation email, none of that. Anyway, so this is why I'm doing this, because I'll just fix this up and keep it or sell it. I'm not sure yet, but at any rate, I'll have basically a brand new transfer case. This kit comes with all the bearings that you need, all the seals that you need. Comes with the thrust washers. They give you two. I'm not sure why. I don't know if there's a difference in thickness. I'm also not sure that it's exactly the right kit because it came with a seal that I have no idea what it went to. It also comes with new dust shields and slingers that go on the yokes. This is a little bit different. I'm not sure if it's right or wrong, but they give you two of these instead of one of these and one of these. But they both have those same grooves in it. I'd imagine that's for oil. They also give you the new plastic for the shift fork. So I'm going to swap those while I'm here as well. As long as they're the right size. They look like the right size. I mean, this plastic doesn't look bad. I don't know. Probably could leave it. But like I said, I'm here. I might as well do it. Let's start with the front case, I guess. Get the seal out of here. Oh, there's part of the seal. Try to tap it out of there. I don't know. Hey, the bearing fell right out. That's nice. Let's see if I can't tappy tap that. I'll use a brass punch just in case. Don't want to scratch my seal surface. This one has a clip holding that bearing in. Basically a C-clip that you spread apart and pull the bearing out. Sweet. Basically you just gotta squeeze that clip and then you can tap the bearing out of there. You see that groove? It sits in that. That's what holds it in place. I'm just gonna spray this gunk out of here, clean her up a little bit. All right, bearings. Ooh, these are Japanese. Wish they wouldn't install the snap ring on here, but whatever. Double check everything's the same freaking diameter. And make sure you put your groove right way, which is down. I can get you in there, I'll show you. Just gotta spread this inner ring apart here. Remember, hit the outside race, not the inside. Dude, me and snap rings are not friends. If you're gonna do this, go get yourself a really good, really nice set of freaking snap ring pliers. Ones that lock or something nice, you know? Just do it. Don't use what I'm doing. Ugh. Ew. Ooh. Yeah, that don't, you probably can't hear that on the camera. I can feel that. No bueno. Not sure who makes this one. It's funny, it also has a groove on it. This one did not. So this is the only bearing that's really giving me trouble. And it's probably the worst bearing because I could feel a flat spot in it while I was spinning it. Very unconventional. I'm sure there's a better tool and a better way, but this is what I've got. So I'm using a pulley puller on the inside, and what I'm doing is I'm tightening that puller onto itself, which is pushing into the inner race of that bearing, and then I'm holding the whole thing. And then I'm holding the whole thing by its own weight and just gently tapping around this thing. It appears to be coming out, but it's hard to tell. There we go. What a pain. The hardest bearing out of this whole thing. It says Koyo, but it's very hard to read. I forgot that I broke 2 bolts and I gotta get them out of that casing. Now, fortunately, one bolt is sticking up high enough. The other one, unfortunately, is behind this alignment sleeve. So I'm gonna have to pull that sleeve out of there and hopefully I can get to it. So the best method that I know of to get these out is to weld a nut onto the end of that stud sticking up. This one's deeper, so it's going to be a little bit more tricky. If I can get this one hot enough, maybe I can run it through. This is called a fire blanket. I don't want any junk falling down into that case. So I've already got my bearings in. Fire blanket's on fire. I think I'm going to get it now. I actually welded the nut from the back side, and this seems to actually be working. So I had actually already pretty much put this together before I realized that I had to get these broken off studs out of there. So with the magic of editing, you can see some pieces are already together. Alright, time for reassembly. Got one more thing to do before I reassembly. There's a needle bearing inside of this planetary gear that needs to be pushed out of there so that you can replace it. That's where the other part of the main shaft sits and rides on. There we go. Just a little love. And these damn snap rings. Go to your home. Nice. I like to use the old seal to tap in the new seal because I didn't have the right size pipe to make that work. Nice and flush, boys. Don't forget your magnet. I did just want to point out that they do give you a brand new oil slinger, dust shield, whatever you want to call it, that goes on that yoke. I didn't replace it, but I wound up putting this entire thing together and then realizing it's left over, and I decided to tear it all back down just to get to that oil slinger to replace it. So do that before you put that in the bearing and put everything together. There we go. Nice. I put the oil pickup tube in here, but I think I take it out and put it in the other half of the case at some point. Also, the shift fork, just be careful when you're putting that bearing on you don't bump one of the plastic pieces off or break a plastic piece. They're part of the guides that help it operate smoothly. Spend all that money and they don't come with new chain guides. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I wonder if Rock Auto's awesome, like they usually are. I bet you Rock Auto is so cool. They probably provide new chain guides. Let's see. Could be wrong. I'm wrong. Damn you, Rock Auto. You didn't even get a freaking magnet. Bastards. Rock Auto? I had to get the chain from Rock Auto because the bearing kit didn't come with it. So cool to see how this thing works. I did pull these clutches off camera. They do look pretty good actually. Here, let me show you a couple. If you do take this apart, be sure to put it back the way you took it apart. Actually look pretty decent. sure to put the thrust bearing plate and the thrust bearing and everything back together the way you took it apart. I'll be leaving the link for the Charm.li website on how to put all of this together and take it all apart.
Spring first. Well, then all this garbage. Beautiful. This fork just sits till you can get that pin in there. Don't forget your oil, Chumpy, and your magnet. Must have magnet. I like to use the black for this stuff.
I'm terribly sorry about the video quality, but I changed my batteries and apparently I got grease all over the frickin' lens and wasn't paying attention to that fact, so
Put that on after the
here we
fact.
have some shitty video quality. My apologies. But basically, you just want to make sure you clean up both sides of the mating surfaces on each case and use RTV to silicone it back together.
I don't know. This seems a little controversial. Everybody's like, oh, you got to do one way and do the other way. I like to smooth it out. Nice, flat, even surface. I also go around the screw holes. A lot of people don't. I don't know why. But you think when you're clamping something together, you want like an even, flat surface you're mating to. So if one side's got silicone on it and the other one doesn't, what's going to happen? I would think it'd go crooked. So who knows? Yeah, you probably want to clean everything off before you start putting it back together, but we know how I do things. Backward. Leave the magnet there, and I'll put this in on this side. Try that. Why wouldn't, I don't understand. Why wouldn't I slide this into that first? And then go on that. Yeah. Let's try that. know that that's right either. And now my battery for my mic died, so now we have no audio. With a few love taps, this thing went back together. The one thing I would suggest is just be careful with that shift fork. I don't know, for whatever reason, after I got it back together, it was pretty tight to spin the output yoke on the rear. So I had to take that back apart again, but I also did that at the time when I replaced the dust shield on the front yoke. Once you get the cases mated, then you'll want to put the snap ring back on for the output shaft on the rear. And once you get that snap ring in place, you'll put the oil pump back in. You want the flat side of the shift fork shaft facing towards the motor. And all those pieces that came out of there, there's two of them, they'll go back in and lock in place, and then you put the roll pin back in as well, and that also has to get tapped back in. You could probably do this sooner than I did in the video, but you can now bolt the two halves together. Each bolt gets torqued down to 20 foot-pounds. Right here I've just tilted the thing on its side, that way I can get that roll pin in much easier. It actually helps more to get the roll pin started in the shift lever cam before you actually try to put the roll pin through it while it's on the shaft. So get it started on the bench, then put it on the shaft, then you can tap it the rest of the way in. A lot easier than trying it the other way. So I realized that my mic died, but I still haven't realized that there's grease all over the camera lens. Just had a hell of a time with this seal. It was so rusted it was stuck in there. But she's out now and she's obliterated. Alright, earlier I said you gotta follow this line. That's not true. You want to go on the outside of that line. I'm talking about adding RTV to this, and the better option actually is to add it to the transfer case itself, not to this cover. It'll give you a better area of where to put it. And you just put a very, very, very thin amount on this because you don't want it to squeeze back into the oil pump and cause problems. You also don't want to use your finger and smooth it out. Just make a very tiny bead if possible.
these bolts also get torqued down to 20 foot-pounds. I'm using the gun at the lowest setting to put them in quickly, and then I go back through with a torque wrench.
Might have been easier to put the new seal in before I put it on, but oh well. Struggle bus, that's where I'm at. Oh, I like it. It's out of a ball joint puller set. Well, unfortunately, I don't know if this motor's any good, but I'm just going to use it. And if it's bad, it's easily replaceable.
So the shaft that sticks out of the transfer case is a keyed spline. It'll only go on there one way for the motor to sit. So there's no way to screw this up. So it's not like it's going to be in neutral and the motor's going to be in a different position. So this is the oil slinger slash dust shield that I was talking about earlier. I'm taking it off. This is the rear yoke, and I'm realizing too at this point that I forgot to put it on the front and remove the old one. And the reason why you want to replace them is because they do actually wear. It's a brass item and it wears inside the old seal. So you want that surface to be nice and fresh on a new seal. So you might as well replace them. Anytime you're dealing with seals like this, or any seal in general, just put a little grease on it, put a little oil on it, lubricate it so that when you're putting new parts together and they're not running dry.
Super tight. So I should have thrown that on the front. I totally forgot about it. And I'm not sure where this goes.
I'm pretty sure that doesn't belong to this kit.
Maybe that's got something to do with in here.
I don't know where that seal comes from.
So I didn't pull that all apart, so maybe that's what that is. So this nut gets tightened down to 90 to 130 foot-pounds. So at least like 100 and something. It's probably good, 110. It's about 126 right now. the clutch is locked in place. That is tight. All right, so as you can see, I got it all back together, and it's very tight on that end. So I actually took the entire thing completely apart again. I wanted to get to that front output yoke and replace that oil slinger. Also, it's also a dust shield. And B, I wanted to figure out what the heck was so tight in there. And it was only on the output on the rear that it was tight. I'm not really sure. I mean, after tearing things apart and then carefully just slowly putting things back together, everything seems to be fine this time. Before, it took me 2 hands to turn this whole thing, and I had taken an inch-pound torque wrench, and it took over 100 inch-pounds to get this thing to start turning. And that's pretty terrible. So it's been a process of a couple of days of me doing this. Technically, I rebuilt the whole thing in a day, and then a day or two later, I took it all apart. I mean, I should have filmed, but as you can see now, it spins freely. It's not loose. It's not overly tight. And the clutch, you can see when you turn the rear output that the front output will stay in place if you hold it. So that's 4 high. If it was in 4 low, these would both turn together when there's pressure on the front. So with it completely as it is, both of them turn. Even from the front, it turns now, as before it didn't. Also, the input is spinning. So, and also you can see that I took it apart because this RTV is gray. I actually ran out of the black stuff, so I wound up using the gray stuff. Not a big deal. It's the same thing. You want something that's non-corrosive and meets OEM and is oil resistant. And while it was sitting on the bench, I filled it up with fluid. I figured that's going to be a lot easier while it's on the bench than it is up in the vehicle. It takes just under 2 quarts. And listen guys, don't cheap out. Get the Mopar stuff. It's got the limited slip friction modifier already in it. It's the right stuff. Use it. I'll have links in the description for the kit that I got, the rebuild kit, which is basically bearings and seals. And Rock Auto, I'll put a link to that chain that I bought for this as well. Thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate you guys taking the time to like and subscribe, and helps me to be motivated to keep doing this sort of thing. So there's not a lot of stuff about the WK. There is, but there's not like some of this type of thing about it. So, and really after doing this and watching other transfer case rebuilds, they're sort of very similar. So this might be a little bit different than a 247 or a 242, obviously. But there are a lot of similarities with them. So I feel like once you do one, you could probably be confident doing another one for another vehicle. This is the first one I've ever done. So I'm happy with how it turned out and the way it worked. And I learned, and I'm not going to not tell you my mistakes. I screwed up a couple things, but hey, that's how it goes. I figured it out and I put it back together correctly now. So if you have any questions, just leave a comment and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And good luck if you're doing this yourself. So thanks again. And again, I'm really sorry that there was some blurry video. Me and my fingers getting all over the lens. I'll have to pay attention to that next time. Of course, like I've said before, I am pretty new to YouTube, so bear with me.